Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Tonight we're back here with the Green Scorpion, and tonight we got the top 10 video game Scythe Wielders. So yeah, these are basically Scythe Wielders that you do not want to cross. So, how about, well, we're about to see why. Let's check it out, shall we? So be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's rewatch this one. It's the start of Weapons Month. Enjoy! Yeah, it's the best I can come up with. Watch your back. The Reaper may be coming for your soul soon. Blade of Scythe.
Hello everyone, the Green Scorpion here with the first list of my 500 subscribers special. For the month of May, it's going to be Weapons Month. I'll be releasing a list once a week for 5 weeks about video games' greatest weapon wielders. Now when designing a fictitious character to have a weapon, what are the first weapons that come to mind? Probably a sword or a gun of some variation? A bow, staff, spear? Well, let's be a little more creative than that. How about one of the most intimidating, sophisticated death metal weapons imaginable? The Scythe. Invented briefly after the nomadic era with the purpose of cutting wheat in tall grass, this real-world object has been adopted by legend and folklore as also being a weapon of certainty. When someone has a scythe, they aren't defending themselves. They want to kill. So for this list, I'm counting down the top 10 greatest Scythe wielders. I honestly don't think I need to repeat the rules here, so let's get straight to the fun.
Let's begin. Franchise for list? Oh, start it up. This should be a minute. Let's use first.
With so gruesome a killing tool as a scythe, why not ease into it with a little class and sophistication? Manuel Manny Calavera is a travel agent at the Department of the Dead, an organization that determines the purity of dead people's souls and helps the purest souls with their trip to the afterlife. When in action, these agents don the black uniform of the Grim Reaper, complete with scythe, and Manny Calavera is one of them. Manny himself is a really interesting character. He can be very charming or very snarky in a Casablanca sort of way, and even though he doesn't like his job, which he has to do to pay off a loan to the powers that be, he still puts his afterlife on the line to ensure that Meche, a true saint, makes it through her journey. It also makes you wonder why Manny never got to the 9th level and instead got a dead-end job between worlds.
Oh, I'll be leaving here soon enough.
No thanks to dead-end, no-commission, low-life cases like yours, Menso.
So how is he with a scythe? Well, being the Grim Reaper is a good sign, but you don't see him get down and dirty with that thing too often. However, it is a point-and-click adventure and not an action game, so it's to be expected. Manny is low on the list because of that, but as a signature Grim Reaper and a suave tuxedo man, Manny brings a charm and demure to the weapon. Also, have you seen his scythe? It folds out like a collapsible chair. Now that is some business-efficient reaping.
I mean, hey, if it works, right? Number 9? What do you got? Oh boy. Hello.
Gomez is a mini-boss that guards the boss key in the Stone Tower Temple, which is easily the coolest dungeon in Majora's Mask. As Link enters a room, a swarm of bad bats... Yes, they're called bad bats, not keys. How about that? Anyway, the bad bats swarm in a little ball, and there appears Gomez, carrying a golden scythe. I still wonder exactly what kind of phantom this is. Is he composed of shadow and surrounded by bats, or is he literally made of the bad bats? And where did the golden scythe come from? Hey Tattle, what is this thing? Oh, okay, thanks Tattle, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Bad Bats protect Gomez's golden core weak point, and Link has to ward them off with the light arrows. Simple enough. Though Gomez makes it harder with some scythe routines that he learned in the Glee Club. He's really good at spinning that thing, considering that his hands may or may not be made of bats. Also, it's worth noting that when he's defeated, Link is treated to a nice camera angle of the scythe plunging into the ground, surrounded by burning bats.
Damn.
Nice.
Actually,
But is it just me, or does Gomez not look that menacing? His fighting skills are okay, but
Yeah,
those
it's an old game,
goofy
what are you
eyes,
gonna
the
do?
big red mouth, being made of bad bats... Yeah, Gomez, consider yourself lucky to be number 9. Now give me that
Yeah.
boss key!
Pretty much. Alright, Gomez. Yeah, didn't make a good impression. Alright, bud. Number 8?
Life has
Magnus.
not been fair to Magus.
Or Magus,
Growing up
thank
in a
you.
highly advanced society, his mother Queen Zeal was corrupted by the parasitic space demon known as Lavos, his sister Shala was absorbed by the apocalyptic pincushion, and he was thrown thousands of years into the future to the Middle Ages, knowing that everyone he ever loved was long dead and even his grand society had crumbled. Magus hoped to put things right, so he aligned himself with the fiends of the
Magus, that's
lower
enough.
continent and became their leader. He was going to open a time rift to kill Lavos once and for all, but then Chrono and Frog show up, he gets defeated, Lavos continues to feed, and Magus gets sent into the distant future. Again.
Oof.
Traumatic childhood backstory aside, Magus' basic attacks are with his Scythe. Although he is also a very talented caster, able to cast lightning, fire, ice, and his signature move, Death Hold, so attacking with his Scythe isn't his only option. What I found more interesting is why he has a Scythe. That is, why the designers of the game chose that. Well, here's my theory. There is a symbolic connection between the Scythe and the flow of time. The grass can grow, but eventually needs to be cut, and we can live life to the fullest, but eventually the Grim Reaper comes for us. In the same way, time passes on. Being a game about time travel and seeing how the Scythe is more often characterized as a darker weapon, Magus' brooding and sinister look goes great with the Scythe, and wielding one matches his hope to create his own time portal to fight Lavos. Depending on how the player proceeds in the game, Magus may warm to the group and help change Chrono's fate, as well as the world's. However, there is also a respect for the inevitability of things. At no time does Magus ever request to go back and fix the horrors that happened to him as a child. Perhaps he acknowledges that it was that adversity that made him such a powerful sorcerer, and without it he may not be able to save the world. Or maybe I'm looking way too far into this. Either way,
Either
Magus
or.
is more than worthy of his blade, and now takes the number 8 spot.
Yeah, fair enough. This is coming from a guy who hasn't really played it. I mean, this came out before I was born, so I got an excuse. What about you? Anyway, next. Number 7?
2 words.
Oh.
Lightsaber Scythe.
That's 3.
Sigma
Sigma.
is a Reploid, a kind of human-like robot in the Mega Man universe. Once a law enforcer for the protection of humanity, Sigma had a nasty run-in with Zero and found himself infected with a virus that turned him into the most powerful Maverick alive.
Thanks a
Sigma
lot, Zero.
wields his Sith Scythe
Oh,
in Mega Man
Thanks a
X4,
lot,
where he
Riley.
starts off wearing the typical Reaper cloak until finally revealing himself to attack you head-on. In this state, he will fire energy beams and throw his Scythe around like a boomerang. What makes this battle particularly challenging is the fact that Sigma isn't totally predictable, so good luck trying to avoid his attacks. In many Mega Man X titles he appears in, Sigma doesn't always use a Scythe, but
yeah,
I
true.
felt the need to share this boss battle that gave many gamers a great challenge. And let's face it, it's a freaking lightsaber Scythe! That's just too cool!
Yeah, true. Can't go on with that. I mean, lasers and sides. Always awesome. Number 6. What do you got?
Up until now, we've talked about people carrying the Scythe, but it's time to look at characters that really know how to fight with them. This Pokemon's name
Scyther.
is literally Scyther. He
Oh, yeah.
scythes people. In the newer generation of Pokemon, cool and useful bug types are easier to come by, such as Yanmega and Galvantula. But in the first generation, there was just a bunch of silly bees and butterflies, and this ridiculously awesome killing machine. His
Look at this
arms are
evolution
his scythes,
scissor.
and with high speed and attack stats, he clearly knows how to use them. Most of the moves Scyther learns utilize his deadly appendages, including Fury Cutter, Slash, Air Slash, Night Slash, Razor Wind, Sword Stance, and the very damaging X Scissor. It can also learn False Swipe, meaning that it is so precise with its blades that it can hurt an opponent while assuring it won't kill the opponent. The Pokedex entries for Scyther claim that it moves at blinding speeds, can cut through logs with a single swipe, has attacks that are hard to parry, turns practically invisible in tall grass, and generally has the skills of a ninja.
Yeesh.
I'm convinced. If Ryu Hayabusa had a Pokemon, it would be Scyther. Hands down.
No kidding. I believe it. Number 5, what do you got?
League of Legends has a massive amount of playable
And the
characters.
start of this trend.
All unique, interesting, and having their own abilities, look, and backstory. One of the darkest champions, despite the name, is Fiddlesticks, the Harbinger of Doom. I always found the lore on each champion very interesting, even if it is all just one big excuse plot for a bunch of knights and ninjas and armadillos to do battle.
Sounds right.
Fiddlesticks is the result of a summoner's attempt to beckon forth a creature from another plane. The summoner was found dead in that room with Fiddlesticks, a demonic scarecrow that just stood there. Anyone who walked in was immediately slain, and until then, he just stood there and waited. Finally, some craft summoners roped him into fighting for the League of Legends. Whether the summon was a success or failure is a matter of opinion.
True.
The reason why Fiddlesticks makes this list is how well he embraces the demonic scarecrow theme. Yes, the site is originally a farming tool for working in the field, where one would find a scarecrow. Crows, ironically, are the only things not scared of him. They flock around him and he sends them after his foes as magical projectiles. Fiddlestick's Scythe can do a lot of damage if you build him the right way. Plus, going along with the Reaping of Souls, he can steal people's life force. Fiddlesticks is just a triangle of symbolism. But mostly, he is just a machine for death. Especially once he starts teleporting and inflicting fear on your entire party. If you see this guy coming, run.
Yep, I don't think you need to tell us twice. We'll run. Especially with that thing with a pair of Scythe. I'm good.
The graceful assassin and number 11 of Organization 13, Marluxia is a nobody, meaning he is a body that has lost its heart. He appears as the main antagonist in Sora's story in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, but makes appearances in other games of the series, including Final Mix, where players finally got the chance to square off against him without a wonky card battle system.
Fair.
Marluxia fights with his pink scythe, and the power to control pretty pink flowers. Hey, wait a minute, let me check something here. Larxene controls lightning, Axel conjures fire, and Luxord controls probability and gambling. But Marluxia, the Lord of Castle Oblivion, gets stuck with flowers? Actually, they aren't just any flowers, but cherry blossoms. In Japanese culture, the cherry blossom is a symbol of life and death in nature, and with his scythe, the graceful Dahlia, he basically controls the element of death. Now that sounds way more threatening. In Final Mix, at the very beginning of the fight, Marluxia will cast Doom on Sora, and a timer will count down. When it reaches 0, Sora dies, no questions asked. That's pretty cruel, not only coming after this poor kid with a scythe, but showing him how long he has to live. All the while, he spins and jumps all around in a way only Kingdom Hearts characters seem to do, and fires off petals and energy beams.
So
also, when he does his floor-sweeping energy attack, Donald and Goofy die every time. So what's the best way to take down this pink-haired botanist? Out-scythe him. You gotta hand it to Marluxia, not many characters can have pink hair and flower power and still be menacingly cool.
I see. So the counter with the scythe to get your hit points back. Nice. Good to know. 3.
After killing hundreds of people in a parking lot, ravaging his way through a supermarket, and climbing to the roof with nothing but pure revenge on his mind, Travis finds the number 4 ranked assassin in the world, Margaret Moonlight, and she does not approve of his ways. It's been discussed before that Margaret is called the Reaper and takes the duty of killing those who deserve to die. It's all in her theme song. Reaper, Reaper, that's what they call her. Well, Margaret brings the term Reaper to a whole new level. She dual wields a pair of scythes, one in each hand. And on top of that, her scythes hold a secondary purpose. Like Matt Helms, whose axe is also a flamethrower, Margaret's multifunctional blades also just happen to be high-powered rifles. So not only can she slice Travis up with 2 scythes, she can use them to cap his little otaku head off from 100 yards away. Margaret, you may have been the number 4 assassin, but your awesome Scythes and your awesome theme song put you as the number 3 best Scythe wielder on this list.
That is so sublime.
It's alright, Moonlight. You're done. Number 2. Nearly there. What do you got?
So, Manny Calavera has a foldable scythe,
Manny.
Margaret has 2 gun scythes, Scyther has 2 arm scythes, and Sigma has a laser scythe. But as far as just giving someone a plain old every Amish day scythe and asking them to be awesome with it, who really
That's
stands
a big
above?
ask.
Sassalamel.
Oh.
I mean,
Hellcaliber.
just look at some of the moves he does.
Damn.
He lobs people over his head and juggles them, pulls them in, and has some of the most gruesome grabs ever to not draw any
jeez.
blood. Seriously, how does anyone get up after just being cut in half? Sassalamel also happens to be a powerful spellcaster according to the game's lofty backstory, but that's nothing compared to his cutting
Combat anybody
skills.
for Sassalamel?
He also learned a spell that makes him live forever, reincarnating every time he dies with all of his memories intact.
Damn,
This
really?
blessing also has become a curse to Sassalamel after realizing that he will never be able to pass on to the afterlife. In his ending of Soul
That's what you
Calibur
get.
4, however, he recovers both Soul Calibur and Soul Edge, and living forever, chooses to guide humanity in the right direction for all eternity.
Thanks.
Funny how the time thing comes up with the Scythe Wielders again, huh? Sassalamel will always be around to help society, but don't get him mad. He's been known to open black holes and throw people in from the edge of his blade.
See ya.
Alright, let's do the old recap before we get to number 1.
Here we go.
Number 10, Manny Calavera. Number 9, Gomez. Number 8, Magus. Number 7, Sigma.
Sigma.
Number 6, Scyther.
Scyther.
Number 5, Fiddlesticks. Number 4, Marluxia. Number 3, Margaret. And number 2, Sassalamel.
So, who's topping all of these? Let's see it.
Manny Calavera may be a Grim Reaper, but for number 1, we have Death itself. Specifically, Death from Castlevania.
Pennsylvania.
Death has appeared in all but 2 games in the Castlevania series, sometimes donning the traditional black cape, and other times with more of a bare skeletal horror look, but always,
Fitting of
always
Horsemen of the
with the
Apocalypse.
ever-vigilant Scythe. As Dracula's right-hand man, Death is usually one of the
Dracula
toughest
managed to
bosses
conquer
in
Death.
any given game. He can use a variety of dark magic, conjure fire, summon the souls of the dead, fly, teleport, and even open the gates of hell to bring demons out or throw his enemies in. He also has a plot convenience on his side. He can never really die. And he was able to inexplicably take all of Alucard's powers at the beginning of Symphony of the Night. Good thing Samus never met this guy. And when he brings out the long hook, oh boy is Belmont in
Look out.
for it. Throwing it like a boomerang, deflecting knives and crosses, and suddenly calling forth a storm of homing sickles. Yes,
So what's with the car?
it is a scythe that shoots smaller scythes.
Yeah.
Margaret and Scyther may have 2 blades, but Death has about 1 million.
Yeah.
All
Nearly
in all,
limitless.
Death is the very image of what it means to hold the blade of the departed. With skill,
I mean,
cunning,
considering,
and
like,
no
the
mercy for
Reaper
his
is
opponents.
Death, and
He now
iconic
takes
of
the
Scythe,
title
not
of the
surprised.
number 1 greatest Scythe wielder in gaming history. I am the Green Scorpion. See you guys next time.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, you're having Death in the game, might as well give him a Scythe, you know? Well, there you go. The top 10 video game Scythe wielders. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, like, subscribe for more. See ya.